for the mentorship program. Glad to see you here. I think you'll find this a valuable use of your time. If you don't know, this is an Air Force mandated program, but it's one that I fully believe in, and I believe you will all fully believe in it. It will only work if you do. I will tell you that the #1 concern from the senior NCO Corps on this wing was lack of mentorship. So the timing of this program coming out at this time is just perfect. So a lot of speakers today. Mentoring is on many levels, some formalized, some not. But think about how you can help your peers. Think about how you can help your young airmen underneath of you. Think about the things you wish you would have known or somebody would have told you, because I pretty much say that every day. I wish somebody would have told me that. Well, that's mentoring, folks. So I think you'll really enjoy this class. They told me to keep it really short. So it's a great program. It'll make this wing even stronger. And hopefully at the end, it'll make you better leaders and just create a better team out here overall. So thank you all very much. Next.
Bobby. Sir. So they told me we're taping this time. So I don't know what to do with my hands. Sides. So it's okay. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Sir.
Let me ask you a question. Who has a mentor in the audience? Raise your hands high if you have a mentor. Raise them high. Don't be ashamed of your mentor. I'm not going to ask you to name them. Okay, that's about what I had last time, maybe a third, a little less. Let me ask you a different question. I didn't ask the last crew, but I want to hear this crew. Who is a mentor? Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. What are some of the things that you get from having a relationship, mentor, mentee? Give me something that you've talked to your mentor or mentee about, or broad. Don't get real specific. Don't want to hear specifics, but give me something that a mentor helped you with, or that you learned from a mentee. Wait a minute. What is it?
Career progression.
Career progression, a little career guidance. That's traditionally what we think about. How do I make the next rank? What do I need to do to make that supervisory position? That's good. What else? Handling situations. Can you give me kind of a ballpark what situations to handle?
Say you have an issue with a senior NCO and you're not sure how to come to them about the situation.
Yeah, how to handle a jerk. You've probably been being mentored a lot on how to handle a really high maintenance colonel, right? So how to handle situations in an office.
He's talking about himself.
No, Colonel Schwader. So how to handle interpersonal office type professional relationships. That's a great mentoring type thing. What else?
PME.
PME?
How important it is.
How important it is, do I really need to do this or do I not? What else?
Deployments and military benefits in general. Not in the same cup, but it can go both ways. When you're
I'm getting ready
for
to
deployment.
deploy. I've never done it before.
Right.
What's
can
this
I
all
do?
about?
Yeah.
Am I going to get paid? What am I going to get paid? What's this hazardous duty pay and why is it hazardous? Some of those questions. That's good. What else? How about a mentor that learned something from a mentee? Anybody got any of that? Nobody. Nobody. Here we go.
Yes.
Yes, I learned something.
You learn from it because it's you look at the person that's talking to you and you're explaining the situation, and it unfolds. It challenges your mind to think in a different level.
Yeah,
So
that's great. That's great. Anybody else from a mentor's perspective? The benefits of this. Yeah.
As a mentor with a mentee, you gain better. You have to look at yourself more often because you can't tell them to be the example if you're not going to be the example for them.
Kind of like parenting.
Exactly like parenting.
When you tell your kid, quit yelling, and you're yelling at them. Yeah, something like that. So those are all, to me, this is what I take away from this. We have had a mentorship program on our base informally for years. I grew up with mentors out here. I took advantage of their advice. Sometimes you'll learn from a mentor what not to do, and that's great advice too. So we've had a mentorship program. This, in my mind, is an effort to kind of formalize it and bring it out for those that we might have missed. There's probably somebody in the audience that goes, yeah, I don't have a mentor. Or somebody in the audience that's thinking, you know, I probably could tell a young troop something, and maybe I ought to go out of my way to offer some advice as a mentor. So this is kind of our program to make sure we've included everybody in this thought of mentor and mentee relationships. My Vector is a great Air Force program. I'm on there. Don't everybody ask me to be your mentor, please. But I'm on there, and I've gotten a few folks in the wing that formally through My Vector have used that. It's a great tool, but at the root of it, it's a relationship with someone you trust, you value their advice, the trust goes both ways, and you have the opportunity to learn from somebody else or hear their perspective. And I think from the mentor over here that gave some advice, you get a perspective of somebody else. And that's so valuable. I learn a lot from everybody I talk to in that mentor-mentee relationship, that perspective of somebody else. All right. That's all I got. Did my hands do okay? All right. Well, very good. Thank you very much. Next.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Good.
We wide awake? Everybody have a good lunch? Thanks for coming. Thanks for what you do out here each and every day. I know sometimes it seems futile that we bring you up here and we talk to you as a large group, but it's very important that we get this message across to you. Let me ask you a question. What is a mentor? Who is a mentor? Who have you had for mentors throughout your life? Was it a brother, a sister, maybe your parents? Maybe it was a teacher, a preacher. I had an awesome teacher, Mr. Barrett, Go Ag, up in Mound City, Missouri. He was my mentor through high school. Still today, he's still my mentor. World War II veteran. Awesome guy. Awesome guy. I remember very vividly throughout my military career, I had Chief Timpson. He's the one that showed me, I saw a smile back here. You knew Chief Timpson. He was the one that showed me that a traditional guardsman could make Chief Master Sergeant, could put it on. If it wouldn't have been for him mentoring me, I wouldn't be standing here today talking to you. So it's those type of people that are in your life that you look up to, that you respect, that have achieved a goal, that maybe that's a goal that you want to achieve someday. Those are the people you want to look up to and say, hey, how did you do it? Can you help me a little bit? Why is it important that you have a mentor? Anybody? Do sometimes you get to a crossroad and you just don't know which direction to turn? Yeah. That mentor can maybe help you choose that right path. Because what happens if you try to do it on your own and you make the wrong turn? It could be devastating. It could be devastating. How does mentorship affect your force development? And what's force development looking like for the future? I can tell you here in about a month or so, we should start seeing some information flowing down from Joint Force Headquarters on a force development program from the state on our enlisted and officer corps. And it's going to have those developmental opportunities in there. When that comes down, it's important that you have somebody you can go talk to and say, hey, do you think this would be a good opportunity for me to go and advance my career, do better out here, make myself better? Because it's all about you. It's all about making yourself better. And how are you going to do that? Believe me, don't try to do it on your own. You need somebody there along beside you. You need that wingman, you need that mentor to help you out. Colonel Black talked about that two-way communication. You know, I learned just as much from those that I am mentoring because they bring a lot back, feedback right back to me. I've got one sitting right here in front of me that we have some pretty in-depth conversations at times. Yeah, I've got a good first sergeant here that gives me some good positive feedback sometimes, and honest feedback. And that's what a mentor does. They will give you that honest feedback that you need and won't hold back. That's why you need somebody that you respect. Because if they tell you you're screwing up, you're screwing up. Okay? If they're telling you you're doing a good job, you're probably doing a good job. But listen to them. Don't get upset if they tell you you screwed up, because they're just being upfront and honest with you. We're going to watch a short video clip here that First Sergeant Scott and First Sergeant Hamlet, Chief Hamlet, put on. So sit back, enjoy. Oh yeah, this isn't death by PowerPoint today. We're doing videos.
So how does a person know if they need a mentor? It doesn't matter your status, your age, your rank. There comes a point where everyone needs a mentor. And it's usually for the purpose to grow your own personal ambitions or your career development. There comes a point in everybody's career, it doesn't matter at what point in the career, where you get that lost feeling that says, where am I? And that's where a mentor comes in. Provide that honest feedback, give you that little push to move forward in your development.
Traditionally, you think of mentoring as mentoring someone below you. I've been asked the question, does mentoring work both ways? And in the past, I might have said, no, it's a top-down type of relationship. But in the recent years, I learned that mentoring does work both ways. A couple of years ago, my mentor retired. And so I went over to congratulate them on mentoring me and their accomplishments. And immediately that mentor responded to me, thank you for being my mentor. And I actually had to take a step back. And I thought, how can I be mentoring them? And after a brief reflection, I realized that is a correct statement. We built a relationship that helped us both. We're unique in the fact that we all bring something different to the table, experiences, education levels, and all those things that can enhance a mentoring relationship. For instance, I know of several people that here on base that may be a tech sergeant or staff sergeant, but in their civilian careers, they're lawyers, they're plant managers. And so that's very powerful, what they could bring to a mentoring mentee relationship.
So one of the hardest things to do is for a mentee to ask for help. You know, you don't want to come across as not having your life together or not being the high professional. And so it can be difficult to ask for help. And so you have to get that courage up. You have to say, hey, I need some help. And the reason that mentor is so important is because they've been there. They've seen those struggles. They've seen their peers go through struggles. And they bring all that knowledge together. And they help that decision-making process on how to guide you. And you take that feedback and you run with it, and all of a sudden you're making better decisions. You're looking more objectively. And the success is just overwhelming at that point.
Why do I need a mentor? That's the first question that most mentees ask. What is in it for me? What am I going to gain by this experience? The first thing would be to help you in your a new assignment, a new promotion. And that doesn't just mean in the military, but in your civilian life as well. They can help maybe map out some of the things that may help you as you progress in your career or in your new assignment. So that's the first thing. The next thing, it may help you gain access to someone senior to you that's not your immediate supervisor, which could allow you to do some networking across the organization, not only your organization, squadron, shop, or group, but across the base, maybe seeking outside of what you're comfortable with and getting to know someone else from a different group. And then finally, the last thing being a mentee does is maybe helps you gain a better understanding of how you fit within the organization, what your responsibility is, your usefulness to the organization. the things that you bring to the table that help the entire organization.
So why should I want to be a mentor? What are the advantages? What's in it for me? You know, besides the obvious of inspiring another airman to succeed, there's many advantages. It re-energizes yourself. You know, I graduated with my bachelor's degree many years ago, and you just kind of get stagnant. And you watch all these other people succeed. You watch them do great things, and you're like, I can do that. I can do much more. And so it re-inspired me. I'm now writing a book. Who would have thought? So that is a main advantage of mentoring. You look within yourself to see, you see what else that you can offer the world, and you explore it. You go after it. And then the other thing is as you're achieving those things, you're indirectly mentoring others. They're seeing your successes and they're saying, wow, maybe I should go back to school. Maybe I should do that next level of PME. And then that is contagious. Everybody goes forward and you move forward, the organization moves forward, and it's an amazing thing when you look at the overall big picture and the great impact that this actually has.
So how does an organization benefit from having a mentoring program? So much like the benefits associated with the mentee, the organization can expect much similar results by training future leaders, by preparing their bench, by making sure that those individuals have the tools they need to be successful. This is also the time that the organization can support those airmen, encourage those airmen, and to help them succeed and reach their full potential. Be a mentee.
Be a mentor. So hopefully we've established the importance of the mentoring program. One of the things that was discussed is the TAG feels that this is a very important program and wanted to be here. However, since he couldn't be here, he also produced a video.
Hello, and thank you for your attendance today. Our vision is to create a culture of readiness in the Missouri National Guard. To do this, we must live by our strategic goals, take care of soldiers and airmen, empower our organization, and optimize responsible resource management. Your leadership is the key to achieving these goals. That's why individual empowerment and effective mentorship are so important. Over the years, we've lost too many talented female soldiers and airmen. Each loss diminishes our force and takes us further away from reaching our goals. We must establish a culture that supports all of our members throughout their careers, helping them achieve professional and personal success. That's where our mentorship program comes in. Mentors are a critical part of our development as leaders, and we have established this program to assist our female soldiers and airmen to develop into strong, capable leaders within the organization. We've taken great strides in the past few years to make sure the Missouri National Guard is providing opportunities to all our members. We have no interest in being a good old boys club. We need diversity of thought at every level of our organization, and we won't get there by looking alike or having the same backgrounds. Like many of you, I'm a traditional guardsman. I spent my adulthood balancing family, career, and the Guard. So like you, I know how difficult that is. Balancing all of life's responsibilities and excelling in one's career is not easy. My mother's an excellent example. She raised 4 kids, kept up with the family farm, ran her own tax and accounting business, and got her college education all at the same time. Her hard work, love for her family, ability to multitask, and overall resiliency led to her election to the Missouri State Senate and subsequently to the United States House of Representatives, where she served for many years. She's been a great mentor throughout the years for me. In our case, everyone serving in uniform is uniquely challenged with balancing life's many responsibilities. It's not just deployments or state emergency missions that complicate life. It's every weekend away from drill, weeks away for annual training, and sometimes months away for military schooling. Keeping a family together, employers happy, and yourself motivated can be tough. So how do we keep our force engaged when those responsibilities begin piling up? How do we retain and grow female leaders? Leaders can and do exist at all levels of our organization, regardless of rank. You are in a unique position to shape our organization's future by accepting increased responsibility. Our junior members should be asking veterans how they succeeded. How did you get that next stripe while managing a business? Or pin on an oak leaf cluster while raising a family? Or manage to get through a deployment or several deployments while keeping personal relationships intact? Mentors, I am counting on your wisdom and experience to develop the force and retain quality people. Junior members, we are counting on your enthusiasm and initiative to help us help you to succeed. Today is about empowerment. We need your buy-in, not only for your own careers, but also for the careers of the generations that come after you. I have no doubt that the first female Adjutant General of Missouri is in uniform today. She may even be one of you. I look forward to hearing your feedback and working towards a stronger, more resilient Guard. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this great state of Missouri, and God bless the United States of America.
The mission of this women's program is to enrich the Missouri Air National Guard with adaptive and resilient leaders, and we hope to do so by the development and mentorship of our female airmen. Our statewide program is a joint endeavor between both the Army and the Air Guard. If you are unable to find a good mentor match here at the 139th Airlift Wing, please contact me and let me know. I will make those connections with someone else from within our state. So how does this work? Our program was developed specifically to be in alignment with two different things, both the AFMAN 36-2643 and today's Wing Mentorship Program. We intend to use the same tools and similar processes. So later in our presentation today, we will show you the tool MyVector. Within that program, there are two different things that you can do. You can make matches for mentors and mentees, and you can also use discussion forums. To participate in the Women's Mentoring Program, we ask that you sign up through a private discussion forum that we'll show you in just a moment. When you request access to this program, there will be a comment block, and I ask that you give me feedback. Let me know what it is that you'd like to do in this program. Do you want to mentor? Do you want to be a mentee? How do you want to participate? Do you want to be actively involved or maybe less active? What about the males in the room? Do you have a role to play in this program? Probably so, yeah. We would love to hear your input too, so please sign up. Let us know if you're willing to be an advocate, a volunteer, or a supporter of this women's program. It's very simple. If you value the importance of the development of our female airmen, sign up and let us know what you think. We have one other video, I think it's the last one, that shows just how easy mentoring can be.
Hi, I'm Airman Simmons, Samantha Simmons. I am here seeking a mentor. I made an appointment with Senior Master Sergeant Susan McGarry. I heard that she was a really good mentor for my current situation. Hi, Sergeant McGarry. I'm Airman Simmons. I was wanting to talk to you about being my mentor.
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. Airman Simmons, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where do you work on base?
Out here on the week, I work with the recruiters. And then on drill weekend, I work with personnel.
What about your education? Are you a college student? Are you enrolled in PME? What are you working on?
I took about 1.5 years off of college to get my Air Force training finished up. And then I'm not doing my PMEs yet, but I'm on my 5-level CDCs.
Okay, very good, very good. And what about your home life? Do you have family, kids?
I spend a lot of time with my mom and occasionally my boyfriend, so.
Occasionally? Okay, very nice. Well, I'll tell you what, I was actually headed out to lunch. Would you have any interest in joining me?
Sure, absolutely. I'll go grab my lunch.
Sounds great. Well, Airman Simmons, are there any particular issues that you're having or anything that you want to focus on in our mentoring?
Well, I recently took my 5-level CDC test and I ended up failing it, so I'm really stressed that I might fail my next one.
Why is it, do you think, maybe that you failed that test? Are you just not passionate about your career field, or do you just not comprehend the material?
No.
Or
I love my AFSC. I love my job. It's hard for me to focus. It's really similar to my tech school information, so I know it. I don't know.
So when you're doing task evals and OJT, do you seem to do well then?
Oh yes, I'm much better hands-on.
So do you think this issue is less related to your career field and the material and more maybe about time management?
Yes, that's it.
Well, I think time management is a pretty common problem, and I think it can easily be overcome. What else do you have going on that takes up some of your time?
Well, I've got a lot going on. Right now I'm helping my mom move to her new place, and then I just finished up moving myself, and my boyfriend's manager just switched his scheduling on him, so we don't get a lot of time to hang out, and by the time I'm like ready to actually sit down and study, I'm exhausted, and I don't know how to fit everything in.
I can see now why you might be a little bit overwhelmed. You do have a lot going on. Of those few things, though, what do you think are the priorities? Like, what's most important?
Definitely studying.
What could you maybe take a break from or put on a back burner, at least temporarily, so that you would have the time to study?
I'm helping critique a theater production out at my high school. They're about ready to go to their district competition, and I don't know. I've already told them that I would help, and I just don't want to back out on them.
Does it take up a lot of your time, though?
I guess not so much. I could just go and watch them perform. I guess that wouldn't be so bad.
I bet they'd be pretty understanding considering your circumstances, don't you think? Yeah. Let's talk about your boyfriend, too, because you'd mentioned to me previously that he's now going to have to start working weekends. Is there a way to find the positive in that? I'll tell you, when my husband was deployed, I was very thankful that I had some PME that kept me distracted and busy. Do you think that those weekends you'll have more time to study?
I get wrapped up. I get so caught up in everything else that it's hard to remind myself, okay, you gotta take this time for this, and being able to talk to somebody and say, hey, your weekends are now free.
Just kind of the realization of it. Well, I think you're on the right track. I think if you make those small changes and really get in the right mindset where this is your focus and your priority, I think that will change your way forward. So talk to your producer and then let me know how it goes. I'd be curious just to see how you feel after you've made that change. And we could always meet again next UTA if you wanted to talk about some testing skills. We could do that. Or if you wanted to set some timelines or some goals, I'd be happy to walk you through that process.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Really just getting this worry off my chest has helped so much. I know I can do this. I just get so wrapped up in all the other things that I forget to remind myself to focus.
Understandably so. Why don't I give you my cell phone number and my email? That way you can contact me anytime you're struggling or worried about this next test. And then we can also get together next UTA weekend and come up with some timelines and goals for your testing, and we can work on that aspect as well. I think oftentimes we forget what it's like to be a young individual, new to the unit and juggling to make it all work. It is our responsibility to nurture, develop, and guide all of our airmen because they will be the leaders of our organization in the future.
So mentorship is a simple conversation. It is not a complicated process. It is not a formal process. It really is informal. So one of the things we want to do is we want to show you real quick just how easy it is and what the MyVector thing really is about. But one of the things we notice on the top right is the documents and resources. The documents and resources are just some guidelines, brochures, maybe even that Death by PowerPoint thing we mentioned, where you can go and learn a little bit more information. And you also have the Air Force Mentoring Program, AFI, etc. MyVector, on the top left, we designed this to where when you click on it, it'll open up in a new tab. The link in the top left, you can actually copy and paste that, send that home. You can access the portal from home. You can get to MyVector directly or use that link and bypass the portal. In the top right, you'll see the help, resources, mentoring, latest news. But the resources thing, if you were to click on that, what you'll find is different videos. You'll find different literature, all sorts of different resources. Even those dreaded CBTs are all included in that. So if you want to find out how to be a better mentor, you're already doing it, that resource is out there. As we scroll down the page, if you're new to it, you're going to hit the sign up. If you've already been on, you go ahead and click the log on. And of course, put your PIN number in because this is a government computer. So one of the first things you'll probably want to do is maybe establish a connection. So when you look at the mentoring connections, that'll pop up and you probably go to find a mentor. Now they designed this because we don't want to assign you a mentor because you don't know if you're going to get along with that person. And we also don't know what you want. So on the left side, you're going to see what level of education you have, what family status. You'll also see male or female, ethnicity, what duty location. And this one's important right here, duty location, is because this is Air Force wide. Reserves, Guard, and active duty. We put a 5 next to it, and that's a little drop down to assign your priority. The more points, the more of a priority that application is to you. You can even select what level of PME. Once you get that figured out, go down and hit search. This is only going to bring up about 25 selections. So that is not all the people that we have on this base. One of the people you'll notice is one of our first sergeants, Master Sergeant Paul Jackson. I would click on that profile, look it over, see if that person's going to be a good pick. Then go to request a mentor. In the message, you might send them a personal message that says, hey, I really like where you've gotten in your career. I want to see more about how to get there. Send them the message. It will email them that message along with your personal message. The nice thing about the MyVector is you have a forum. So if we click on join discussions, if any of y'all have been out on the internet, and I imagine we all have, you'll notice that there are forums out there. It is basically an area where you can go, you can belong to a group, and you can contribute. You don't have to be there in real time. You can contribute, walk away. And that's the nice thing for our traditional members. The 139th Mentoring Program is up on mine, but if I wanted to find that program, let's back up to join discussions. If I wanted to find that program, I'd go to view discussions, and there'll be a search box. You type in, say, 139AW, and it's going to probably pull up everything assigned to the Air Wing. If you notice there was linguists, there's your AFSC direct items. Down at the bottom, you'll notice that little part that says request access and the lockbox. That is a members only forum. And the nice thing about that is, for instance, the women's mentorship. They want to find out what role you have in it before they accept all members. You don't want to just accept everybody. You want to be selective. You want to make sure that they belong to the group. And you can do that for, say, your shop. You want only your shop. So you would click on request access, and that will bring up that same type of form where you can put in that personal message of what your role you want to be. Do you want to be a mentee? Do you want to be a mentor? How you can contribute. When we click on the 139th Air Wing Mentoring Program, you'll notice we have a couple pre-filled areas. The CGO Council, Junior Enlisted Council, Senior, ask your first sergeant a question. Now you have an open forum where you can go on there and then check back when you have time. You can also, like I said previously, go in there and create a section that's best for you. On the left side, you're going to notice the Plan My Career. This brings up an interactive pyramid where if you want to be something, let's say you want to be a colonel, you want to be a command chief. Whatever it is you want to be, you go in there, you put where you are currently, and it helps build that pyramid of how to get there. One of the things I really like about this is the bullet tracker. Now that we're all required, like active duty, to have EPRs, this is where you go in to put your bullets. So something that you've done well, make a jot or quick note, pop it in there, and now 2 years later you'll actually remember it because it's written down. So My Vector is very simple. It's designed to allow you to match up with a person. That's the main formal process of this. At this time, I'd like to bring, actually we have a video, don't we? No, at this time, my apologies. I'd like to bring up Chief Master Sergeant Hamlin.
Good afternoon. Everybody back there can hear me? Okay, cool. I won't get the mic this time. So we've been learning about the importance of having a mentor, being a mentee, all those things, what it does for the individual, the organization. We've learned those things. So I'm going to take a little sidetrack to that, but it'll wrap back around. So we're talking about mentoring. And now if we think about professional development, how do those two link? Why is it important to have a mentor when we think about professional development? So how many airmen enlisted side want to be chief in this room? Raise your hand. Wow, much like the first group, I'm really surprised of that number of people. So tell me, is it that you think you can't make it to chief? Is that it? Okay, same thing. Who would like to be an 06 on the officer side? Okay. Okay, they're a little more anxious about being there. So the reason I bring that up is, and I'm going to tell my story. A lot of you know me, so you've already heard my story. And I'm going to continue to tell it and tell it and tell it because I think it adds value. And a lot of you I know personally and know where I started. So 10 years ago, not even 10 years ago, I was a tech sergeant in the engine shop. And so, much like you, I didn't think I could make it to chief. That was never in my sights. I was just doing my job just like everybody else. Didn't know where I was going to go. I was basically there. I was here, just not knowing what I was going to end up doing. So again, 9.5 years ago, I started thinking, what am I going to end up doing? You know, what am I going to do after I retire? What direction? Am I going to be a supervisor? What am I going to do? And so once I started thinking about a plan or what I needed to do, that's what I decided. I need to figure out where I'm going to go. And so that's important as you think about wanting to get a mentor or wanting to be a mentee. You got to figure out where you're going. Like all of you said, you don't want to be chief. Again, I was in your boat 10 years ago until I said, I want to be a supervisor, I want to finish my college degree, I want to do all these things. I didn't need a mentor either. I didn't have a reason to go to somebody and say, how did you become a chief? How did you finish your education? Because I had no plan. So we talk about the reverse mentorship, you know, the senior down to the mentee. I'm going to steal from a tech sergeant 3 years ago that I met, that we were talking about plans and talking about our future and things like that. And he put it to me in very simple terms. He said, Chief, you got to have a plan. And I had a mental plan. I started to figure that out. But he said, you got to have a plan. You got to have a 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year, whatever your plan looks like. Because he said, if you know your end state, you know where you want to go, then he said, close your eyes and then start going backwards. You see, you visualize yourself as a chief or whatever it is, and then you start working that plan backwards and said, okay, to get to chief, I got to do this. And for me, I started thinking, I have to be able to be promotable. I have to get those things accomplished so I can move to the next level. I need to get some education though, make sure my PME. So once you figure out that end state, you can start backing up and you start to see where you need to be. I recommend if you don't, does anybody have a professional development plan? And you know, some type of plan that says 1 year, I want to be done with these things. 5 years, I want to be done with these things. 10 years, 20 years, I want to be done with these things. How many people have something like that? That's good. First group actually only had like one person raise their hand. And so if you think about that, that's like you want to go somewhere on the East Coast, you jump in your car and just start driving. That's the same thing with our careers. If we don't think about where we want to go, we're just going to drive aimlessly until we hit the ocean. So if we don't have a destination, say I want to go to Chicago, what am I going to do? I'm going to start mapping out my plan. Easiest routes. I know there's detours. I'm going to pull up GPS. I'm going to pull up weather because you're trying to figure out how to get there. That's the same thing with your careers. That's when a mentor can help you. Because now I've identified, and that's what happened with me. 7 years ago, I was going to retire as a master sergeant. I thought that was great. Went to a chief, a brief conversation, 10-minute conversation. I said, Chief, I'm going to retire. I'll see you later. He said, don't do that. Go think about being a first sergeant. That never hit my radar. Say, go think about it. 7 years later, I'm a chief, I'm a first sergeant, I'm a doctor, I'm a college professor, I'm an author, and I'm a business owner. None of that would have happened if I had not developed some kind of plan. So once I realized where I wanted to go, again, then I can go up and ask. And I asked my mentor, when I was here full-time as a technician, do you think I'll get here? Do you think I'll make chief? He honestly said, I don't think you will. So he gave me the hard, honest answer. And so I left. And now I'm a chief today. So again, when we think about mentoring, you gotta first think about where you wanna go, where you wanna end up. Like I say, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So based on my mentee's mentor suggestion, I do have a written 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan. I didn't reach out 20. I hope to get to that point, but I'm safe with 10, I think. Because the thing is, you keep changing it. You keep changing it to get to where you need to go. So I looked at mine just last week, my 1 year plan. And I started looking, I said, I want to publish this book. What do I need to do? I reached back to my civilian mentor. And I said, I'm thinking about publishing a book. What should I do? Send it to me. I'll send it to my editing group. We'll send it back to you. You publish it. Just that easy. She gave me some direction in a 15-minute Skype conversation because she's in Greece. That's how simple it is. So in about a month, I'm going to publish my book. Then I'm going to publish another book. And I'm going to continue to do those type of things. So that's all of you in this audience. Same power. So what we're doing with this mentoring program is letting all of you know that every one of you enlisted members can be a chief. Every one of you officers have the ability to be an 06. That is what the mentoring program is here for, to let everybody know there's help out there. So please take advantage of this. So that's all I have. I'll turn it back over to Chief Miller.
Thank you, Chief. How many officers out there want to be general? He said 06. He's topped at 06 on those officers. That's not the top. So why set your goal just at 06? I didn't set my goal at E7. Well, I did. I had to change it. So why is mentoring important? How many of you know who Deborah James? Who's Deborah James? Secretary of the Air Force, I heard somebody say. Yeah. So just here recently in the news, she's been asking for people to send in a name for the new B-21 strike bomber. Worried about the next generation of aircraft. A year ago, though, she had an article in the Air Force Times, and she quoted as saying, a fundamental question that I ask is, Are we spending as much time and resources and energy thinking about the next generation of our people, the next generation of our airmen, as we are thinking about the next generation of aircraft? She goes on in that article and says, by improving our ability to mentor, we hope to nurture and sustain an airman's growth throughout the course of their entire career. So Secretary of the Air Force James thinks it's important. Who do you think pushed this My Vector program? Secretary of the Air Force James pushed this program out, said we need a better program out there to mentor and have those mentorship programs set up for our airmen so that we have the best fighting force out there. Are you building your bench? You supervisors out there. You officers. Are you building your bench? Do you have somebody ready to come up if something happens to you today and you can't come back here tomorrow? Is there somebody ready to fill your shoes? Fill your position? It's important that we as supervisors be those good mentors and be building our bench. Who's going to be your next command chief? Yeah, I'm building my bench. I'm telling wing leadership they're going to have a tough decision to make because I'm preparing as many people as I can to come up and fill my shoes. You as young airmen, think about it. Where do you want to go? Like we've been hammering to you here today. Know where you want to go. Know what your goals that you want to achieve are. I encourage all of you to strive for this position. I'll tell you what, this is the best position on the wing. Colonel Swader will probably disagree with me because he's going to say his is the best position at the wing. But no, this is, because guess what? I get to talk to each and every one of you and hopefully help you meet your objectives. You know, Susan McGarry here, Senior Master Sergeant McGarry, touched on it very bluntly at the end of her video. You are the future leaders of this organization. Each and every one of you, you are the future leaders. Think about that. Somebody sitting in here may be a wing command chief someday. Somebody sitting in here could possibly be the wing vice commander, the wing commander. Something to think about. Who is it? What is that next big thing that's coming? Are you prepared? Does anybody know what the next big thing coming is? No, we don't. But are you prepared for whatever it might be? Do you have somebody to turn to help you out when you come to that crossroad and you don't know what direction to go? So if you're a mentor, educate yourself. If you're a mentee and you need that guidance, seek out somebody you respect, somebody that's going to give you that honest feedback.